In this lesson, we will start working our way on ensemble methods. We will discuss bagging and random forest. We will start with explaining what are ensemble and why we use them. Then we will get into Bootstrap Aggregation, bagging, and random forest. So far, we studied decision trees and linear models and learned about their strengths and challenges. The core idea in ensemble methods is very simple. Individual models have limitations, but combining multiple models might be able to achieve better results than any single model. And this works because different models may capture different aspects of the data. So combining their predictive power reduces the risk of overfitting. Think of it like asking multiple experts for an advice. Even if one makes a mistake, the collective wisdom often leads to better decisions. Here's an example that shows what goes inside majority voting used inside ensemble methods to decide on the classification or prediction. Model 1 correctly predicted X1, Model 2 got it wrong, and Model 3 made the correct prediction. Now, through majority voting, the ensemble produced the correct result. It followed the same process for X2 and X3 and was able to successfully predict all the examples correctly, even though an individual model did not make the correct prediction. The key insight here is that despite the base model not being perfect, the ensemble was able to converge on the correct predictions through majority voting. However, this positive effect is not always guaranteed. In the second case, the ensemble had no effect. All models agreed on the first two instances, but they also collectively failed on the third. So the ensemble did not break ties or improve the outcome. It just replicated the model's shared decision. So running the model individually would have yielded the same result. So the ensemble added no value here. In the third case, the ensemble actually harmed performance. One model correctly predicted X1, but the other two missed it. And because the ensemble relied on majority voting, it produced an incorrect result. The same happened for X2 and X3. So while ensemble methods can be very powerful, they're also not foolproof. So they might be able to boost accuracy or have no impact or even degrade the performance. So it depends a lot on the accuracy and the diversity of the base models. When we talk about ensembles, we focus on two main philosophies, bagging and boosting. Let's start with bagging or bootstrap aggregation. In bagging, each model is trained on a different subset of the dataset created through Bootstrap Sampling or sampling with replacement. These models are trained in parallel, so they don't depend on each other during training. And after training, we aggregate the results, typically through majority voting for classification or averaging for regression. And it's very interesting that the term bagging doesn't come from the idea of bag of models, but rather from combining bootstrapping for sampling with aggregation of predictions. Boosting, on the other hand, works in a sequential manner. We train the models one after another, so each model can learn from the mistakes of the previous one. Briefly, this is how it works. We start by training an initial model and evaluating its performance, and after assessing the model, we identify the area where it struggled or misclassified examples. In the next iteration, we adjust the weights or probabilities of the data points, giving more importance to the hard-to-predict examples. Then we train a second model on the new weighted data in order to correct the mistakes from the first model. And this process repeats for multiple iterations. Now back to bootstrapping. Suppose we have a data set of size n. We create a new sample by randomly selecting data points with replacement. In other words, when we pick a data point, we add it to the sample, but we put it back into the original data set. As a result, some data points may appear multiple times, while others may not be selected at all. And from our previous analysis, we know that approximately 2/3 of the data point will make it into the sample, while around 1/3 will be left out. We run the models on the bootstrapped datasets and aggregate the results. For classification, we do majority voting, and for prediction, we do average prediction or another statistical quantity. This is the Bootstrap aggregation algorithm. We have a data set and k models. They can be decision tree, naive Bayes, etc. For I equals 1 to k, we are going to create the bootstrapped sample, use it to learn a model, and then classify X and return the majority vote. In this visualization, we're comparing the performance of bagging. Let's assume that we are using a decision tree. I start with a dataset and create a decision tree, which gives me some error rates. Now I have two variations of bagging. One that uses simple voting method to determine the final class label, and the other use probabilistic predictions. In the probabilistic approach, the classification is based on probabilities rather than votes. Now, looking at the performance of both of the consensus and probabilistic approach, we can see that as the number of samples or the number of trees k increases, their performance converges. But when k is small, the consensus method might perform better, but as the number of samples increases, both methods tend to show similar results. The Bayes error in this case is very small because theoretically the Bayes error would be minimum if we had complete knowledge about the model. But in practice, however, we can't fully achieve this optimal situation, so this is why the Bayes error remains very small but not zero. Now let's talk about random forest, a type of classifier that falls under bagging. It's essentially bagging with some enhancements. In this case, random forest built on bagging by introducing randomization in the features. So in a random forest, not all trees use the same features. Instead, we randomly select a subset of features for each tree. So instead of building a decision tree based on all available features, I randomly pick a subset and build the tree using those features. Then in the next iteration, I use another different subset of features. Overall, this results in diverse trees. Each is bootstrapped with different data, but built with different features. There are two main variations of random forest. In this class, we focus on forest RI, which stands for random input selection, where we randomly select features to build the tree and determine the splits. The other variation is random forest linear combinations. In this approach, we create new features as linear combinations of the existing ones. These new features can be refined using techniques we studied, like correlation reduction and other statistical methods, to enhance their quality before using them in the model. Overall, random forests gained popularity due to the availability of an implementation called CART, classification and regression trees. When evaluating the performance of random forest, they perform well, although they don't surpass boosting, which we will cover next. However, they offer comparable accuracy, can run in parallel, and handle errors and outliers effectively. Also, they are insensitive to the number of attributes considered at each split, somewhat faster than traditional bagging. When evaluating the performance of random forest, it's helpful to compare them to bagging, because bagging involves randomizing the samples but not the features. Random forest, on the other hand, improves over bagging by introducing feature randomness, which leads to a significantly better performance than the vanilla bagging, as you can see in this figure. Although we haven't covered gradient boosting yet, which has become widely adopted, you will see that boosting can push performance even further. You can see that boosting push performance even further. But still, random forests represent a major improvement by building on the bagging concept and refining it. In summary, we discussed ensemble methods and learned about bagging and random forest.